Hi. Hi. Here, people are quitting the game, burning out. Streamers are leaving. Really? Yeah, do you want to talk about it? All right, let's do it. Hi, Zizaran here, and I wasn't planning on doing a Ziz Reflects so soon, but there's a couple of streamers leaving the game, and I'm constantly getting asked about my opinion. Whether you should care about that or not is completely up to you, but a lot of people are curious about it. So, if you haven't been following what's happening, one of the, actually the largest streamer, Russian streamer, Chistor, is leaving, at least streaming Path of Exile. I can't remember if he said he was leaving Path of Exile, or sorry, streaming altogether because I don't understand Russian. But I have talked to him a little bit before. He's always been a really, really great guy and really, really big in the Russian community. And also another French streamer, Somayd, a good friend of mine, is also quitting streaming and quitting Path of Exile. And to both Somayd and Chistor, you guys have added so much to the community. It's been a pleasure knowing you, and hopefully you guys both stay in touch. And maybe we'll see you at like meetups and stuff in the future if you guys are gonna hang around from time to time. But either way, good luck in life, and yeah, best of luck. So I just wanted to make a video talking about it a little bit, talking about burnout, talking about streaming, and stuff like that. For those that are interested in hearing about it. First, let's talk a little bit about burnout in general and my experiences with burnout and a really, really important thing here, which is streamer burnout versus normal person burnout. I actually get asked quite a lot from people in my chat, hey, Zizaran, what do I do? I've burned out. I don't really feel like playing. What do I do? And that for me is a very, very easy thing to answer when their like livelihood doesn't depend on it. Play something else. There's so many games out there. Why would you force yourself to play something that you don't want to? I think that is the very, very easy answer. Like, if you're not a streamer, your job doesn't rely on playing Path of Exile, then I don't know, check out Last Epoch. It's really good. It's come a long way. Maybe go back to D3 for a few days, check that out. There are other ARPGs like and Lost Ark, even though there's no like NAEU version or whatever, but there are other options out there for ARPGs as well. Last Epoch obviously being by far the best choice, but there are others. There are also other games I've been enjoying, like Escape from Tarkov, RimWorld. Like, just try some games, right? See what works for you. There's no reason to force yourself. Maybe skip a league entirely. But let's say that you are a regular player and you're hell bent on playing Path of Exile. You want to stay with the community, you want to like play and hang out, whatever, right? That's fine too. Well, then you can try setting yourself additional challenges. Go to solo self on softcore, go to solo self on hardcore, trade league hardcore, try something new. Maybe make a goal of like making a really weird build work, of setting a currency amount that you want to farm. Having goals is really, really important. But for if you're a content creator, a lot of this is very, very different. Um, it depends on like what stage of content creation you are, whether you are a medium-sized or large creator and you're like completely dependent on streaming for living. Maybe you don't have a degree to fall back on. There are like multiple stages you can be here, but this is something we've seen a lot of creators on Twitch struggle with. What happens when you burn out of your main game and you're actually in misery playing there? Like some creators can have like maybe 2-3,000 viewers on their main game and they can go to variety and have 50 to 100 viewers. Sometimes your main game can die and your career ends. You can't make it on another game. So that depends a little bit on how you set up your stream. I'm very, very lucky in the fact that there have been several games where I have had like 2 or 3,000 viewers on. So the way I deal with Path of Exile, and I realize how lucky I am to be able to do this, but whenever I'm bored or burnt out, I leave. I start playing Tarkov. I start playing anything else like Last Epoch, Molson. Like generally, I do pretty well on other games as long as it's not. Kerbal Space Program didn't go that well on Twitch, which is sad because I love that game. It's just I get so focused, my mouth's hanging open, and I'm just trying to calculate the trajectory of my rocket. So I'm not really focused on entertaining. It's not that fun to watch. I understand. Um, I'm very, very lucky that I can stream variety, but not everybody can. And then as a content creator, you end up forcing yourself. You are like, maybe like I'm saying, pushing yourself to do goals, but sometimes you just get stuck doing the motions and you're like, well, I have to do this as a job. And that's not very different than what most people do. How many people watching this right now fucking hate their job? It's like, yeah, I hate my job, so what? I need money to live, right? Tough luck. Suck it up, streamers. And that is correct. That is most people, and a lot of people aren't very happy with their job. But that can be a little bit harder for streaming or entertainment in general, because then you have to put on a mask and fake it. Because what most people or a large amount of viewers want, they want to see excitement, they want to see happiness. And I experienced that in like Delirium was the worst thing for me, right? I was miserable, I was toxic, I was very unhappy, I was very angry at GGG, all these fucking performance issues ruining my existence. And I ended up streaming less and went to variety very quickly because I was like, you know what, I'm not having a good time, I'm not going to sit here and be miserable because that's not entertaining people. If you do need variety, take it. Find a way to make it work. Um, I think it's very, very important that you don't push yourself into burnout, because then you're just going to be miserable and sitting there doing something you hate. And we've seen this happen with other creators. Like I remember there's been some League of Legends creators that are like, you know what, I can't stomach queuing for another game of League right now. I have to go variety. Some players have made it on other games, and that's good to see, because I mean everybody deserves to be happy, right? Everybody should be happy. Um, and a job where you have to entertain people can be very, very hard if you're miserable. Streaming in general is a very interesting job, and I don't mind talking about it a little bit. Streaming in general, there's so many pros and so many cons. And the way I say streaming, because a lot of people will say like work omega lol, right? It's not a real job. You're playing video games all day. And the way I look at streaming is it's the easiest job in the entire world, but you have to work so hard at it because it's so competitive. Who doesn't want to play video games all day? And it comes with a lot of downsides, like lack of stability. I remember I had one big December where I got like over $10,000 in donations, and February, 2 months later, I got 300. So I remember a wise streamer, ZGD Live, once told me, remembers is December pays for January, February, and sometimes March. So make sure you budget. And yeah, it's there are downsides, but obviously a lot of upsides too. You get to play video games for a living. The worst downside, which Somad talks about a lot in the video, is there's no time off. There will always be people DMing you. There will always be people asking you for stuff and expecting to take your time. So you don't really get much time off. I remember I took basically 0 days off the first 3 years, and I think in the total 5 years of doing it, most like days that I'm not streaming is usually also spent working on stuff. Those are some of the downsides. I mean, I love the job. I'm super happy. I'm very lucky that I do love what I do, and it's worth all of that. All of those downsides are worth it to me. The only thing that I miss is shutting everybody out for a few weeks and like degenerately watching a TV show while playing Civilization and traveling through time. Just one more turn. Oh, it's the end of the year. That's like the only thing I miss. But for me, all the downsides are worth it for the most part. Obviously, no time off is hard on most people, and it's also not like a very 9 to 5 job. It's something where you're very, very encouraged to. You're awake, you should be working in some way, whether that's networking or getting your name out somewhere or making videos or streaming. Another thing that he deals with a little bit in the video too is repetitive questions. People maybe not like watching guides and watching videos, but like asking questions, and that can get to you as well a little bit. Some people deal with it better than others, and obviously it's not people meaning to be rude, but there are only so many times in a 10-minute time frame you can get asked about spiritual aid before you start getting cranky. And if you start getting cranky, you got to remember the majority of your audience aren't being annoying, but they're maybe not enjoying watching you being cranky at someone. And obviously, you have to balance. You are completely in charge of your incomes. You have to balance how much like sellout stuff do you do? How much do you run things like ads? You're responsible for paying your rent next month, right? So you have to figure out all of those issues as well. And it is very, very hard. It's incredibly hard. I think he said a lot of good things. He's not happy with like the way Path of Exile is going, like the direction of the game. He's like a lot of the end game things that he enjoyed doing on softcore and juicing and stuff, those are taken away. So obviously that's gonna hurt. The meta of builds to play was a little bit stale this league. And he felt lied to by GTD. He felt like they were hyping up things that didn't happen, or like, hey, here's loads of buffs. No buffs came. So, it takes its toll on you. If you're not happy with the game you're playing for a long time, you are gonna burn out and burn out hard. I get it. I understand where he's coming from. I definitely do. Like the meta, I don't love the meta of builds this league either. That's lab is actually really fun for me though. So that's good. I wasn't enjoying this league that much until I started doing lab. Because to be fair, that's also because I'm trying something new. I'm playing trade league. I usually go for super meta builds that I do enjoy. This time I'm trying like new and diverse builds. Not really my thing. I probably, if I wasn't a streamer, I would stick to one build and one build only. Whatever I think is the strongest and most fun at the time. So like maybe like ED, super min-max ED while farming up for a power siphon character. Maybe have only one or two builds the entire league, and if they die, remake those builds. I don't really enjoy playing different builds. But I'm weird that way. And again, yeah, so you have to like balance everything like sponsorships, orgs, and everything like that. And that can be hard too. Because you don't want to do too much, because then it starts hurting your viewerships. You have to try to find a balance. Also, like a thing about streaming, and obviously a lot of the things about streaming I've learned from my mom, because she had a brick and mortar shop. She ran a flower shop, and it's very very similar with streaming. You're running your own business. You are your own boss. You have to push yourself. Not everybody enjoys that. Some people like having a 9 to 5. You clock in, you clock out, you go do whatever you want on your own free time. And on streaming, you're very very much encouraged to push yourself, and you have to push yourself even when you don't want to. I definitely remember days early on where I was throwing up but still streaming, so it can be it takes a lot out of you. As for Somad, he had a very very good video. I suggest you watch it. Makes a lot of good points. And again, like this isn't something you can like. His video isn't something you can agree with or disagree with. It's how he feels. There's nothing you can like. I've seen people saying like, "Oh, I disagree with him, but I wish him luck." It's like there's nothing to disagree with in this video. It's just how he feels. Fuck off with everything else. He's completely entitled to be burnt out and feel like he doesn't want to anymore. It's so weird to me to see people disagreeing or discussing it like it's a discussion piece or a debate. It's not. It's just he's just telling you. There's no question. There's no feedback. He's telling you, and that's important. So let him do what he thinks is best for him. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he does get a job. I hope he finds whatever he wants. I hope he builds that garden and makes some nice tomatoes that are more tasty than what once you buy in the store. So good luck, Somad. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. Just wanted to make a quick thoughts video because I do get asked about it a lot. So I wanted to just sum it up in a video. And yeah, again, as always, sub if you like the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.